Hey everybody, you all ready to goot? Today we're going to be installing a Snorkel Your ATV kit on a 2020 Yamaha Wolverine X2 Special Edition. Let me start by saying this was a pretty difficult install. There's a couple places where you have to put boots on that are tough to get to. Here we're trying to remove the old intake tube you can see here, and you have to take all the screws out of the dash and get the dash completely loose so that you can move it out of the way and get this tube out. It's kind of got a weird shape to it, so it was a little difficult, but eventually we figured it out. After we got the tube out, we removed the intake lid. You have to drill a hole on here. It's pretty clear in the directions where to drill it. It's a 2.5 inch hole that you use the hole saw to drill through. And then you take it off and you Dremel out the interior of it to make it a flat surface so that you can mount the new intake tube onto that. Now we're going to come back and just grind down the rough edges that are left over from the Dremel cutting tool and smooth this all out so we have a nice flat surface for the new tube. This is the new 2-inch intake tube that you insert in the lid. It's got two metal rings that you tighten to hold it in place. Here we're using the tube provided in the kit to mark the place on the dash where our first riser is going to come out. Our original hole saw broke, so we had to use this one from what's got to be the 1950s. This is our dry mock-up of the first riser on the driver's side. As you can see, you have a boot coming from the lid, going to a straight pipe, and then at 90 degrees up through the dash.
I always try to mark the,
I'll usually put like a 1 or a 2 next to them too, so I know we don't.
well,
Now we have the passenger side riser all marked up. What we're doing here, we're marking it with a white paint pen so that when we pull this all out and go to PVC glue it together, we can match these all back up as we go in. There's quite a few bends and turns here, so you want to make sure you have pretty good lines. We've got our passenger side all mocked up and marked up. Here's the path it's going to take, the different 90s and the different bends as you go up through the dash and finally to the riser up the frame. Switching back to the driver's side, we have our airbox lid all siliconed up here for a good seal. We're going to move on. We're running the vent lines for the radiator and the front differential up into the Snorkel ATV risers. The tubing comes with the snorkel kit, so you just need to cut it to length and put it where it goes. The windshield's on and the front's ready to go. Now it's time to start the difficult section, the back. You're going to leave the old tube in here. It's pretty much impossible to get out without taking out a whole lot of parts. Then you're going to try to work your way with this odd shaped piece here and get this boot on. This is one of the boots that was really difficult. You had to take the boot off the assembly, put it on itself, and then wiggle and move stuff around until we kind of got the whole assembly put in there. This was one of the tougher ones.
There's not enough room in there.
This has to go into the fucking boot.
It's not that side. There's no way. There's not enough clearance.
Either way.
This is a tough angle to show, but this is how the 90-degree elbow went into the boot. We're moving on to the second tough boot here. This is down by the belt box. Kind of tough to get to. Once you get the boot on, connecting the rest of the tubes isn't too hard, but getting your hand back in there and trying to slide this boot in position proved to be pretty tough. Now we're dry mocking up this bottom of the riser tube to mark a hole we need to drill for the Y part of this boot to go through the rear plastics here. So we're still mocking up this tube. As you can tell, there's kind of a lot of fitting, putting, moving around, trying to figure out where everything goes. We're closing in on getting in the right spot here, but it's kind of a trial and error process as we went through this.
Okay. That goes like that.
That Y goes out like that?
Well, this Y goes. See, this shows. Does that not show it going on the inside of that?
Shit, bro. What pipe is it? Yeah, you have it right. That's that pipe that's right by your hand is right there.
I know, I realize that, but uh-oh.
Tight fit, huh?
Yeah, she's a little snug, but you know. Right. That's not. I don't know if that's enough though.
Hole big enough to where that whole fitting fits through there.
Should.
No, because that fitting's going to be bigger than 2.5.
Hold that, hold that.
We're finally ready to drill the hole through the back to start getting these risers in the back all the way up. It took a lot of test fitting for us to get here and moving around, but we're here now.
This goes to that.
Lost your boot.
This one goes underneath.
Yep.
I think you still want to shorten it a little bit.
Yeah, we will. So you got that rubber boot. Once you shorten this, then that one can straighten up, right?
Yeah, once.
Now we get to the fun part on the back. PVC gluing all the different fittings, turns, elbows, straights, and everything together. We took it out piece by piece here and used the same white paint marker to mark each section and kind of glue it as we went to get a more precise fit. This took a while. There's a lot of PVC here to glue together and make sure you get a good fit. Alrighty, everything's glued together. We're closing in on the final stages here. Got to tighten up a couple boots, finish up the risers. We have the first half of the riser tubes cut to length, so all we got to do is put the Warrior risers on, and this thing will just about be finished. Don't forget your heat tape down here by the intake. And here it is, guys. Here's the back all finished up, glued together in place. The instructions have the risers going all the way up to the roof. We cut them a little bit shorter just based on personal preference. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to message us. Like I said, this was a pretty tough install, but once you kind of move it around and figure out what you're doing, it's very achievable. I think it took us about 5 hours with the 3 of us working. We had a couple beer breaks in between, but all in all, this wasn't too terrible.